Good morning. I'm Reverend Kathy. Welcome to Unity North Spiritual Center in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. Whether you're in person or whether you're with us on Zoom, we're happy to see all of you today. Unity North is an inclusive community. We welcome and accept all people. So whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual path, you're welcome here, and we're glad you're with us today. We're also part of a greater Unity worldwide movement, the publishers of the Daily Word magazine, and we've been holding 132 years of prayer vigil through Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of the Unity movement. So prayer is the heart and soul of Unity. And we always have a prayer chaplain after service to pray with you if needed, and our prayer chaplain today is Wendy Erickson. And you have to walk up here further, Wendy. There you go. So you can either call, if you're here in person, you can check with her in person, but she's also available by telephone, and her number will show up on the chat and during announcements. All right. Today, Chris Italiano is our Sunday service producer and sound tech. So welcome, Chris. Let's give him a hand. And Rhonda Italiano, our licensed teacher, is also our worship assistant today. So welcome, Rhonda. And our musicians today are Nancy Helvig and Grace McDonough. And Grace this is her first time singing for us. She's a former YOUer. And I assume you've been singing around at different venues from time to time and just getting started again. So we're so happy to have you with us today. And before they do an opening song, we'll speak our vision statement and our mission statement together. And let's say our vision together. This is our ideal future reality. So together, centered in prayer, we create for all a world of love, harmony, and abundance. And our mission, which is what we are in the business of doing, our purpose, let's say that together, celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring dreams, serving community. And you see our values: community, gratitude, inclusivity, integrity, love, prayer, sacred service, spiritual teaching, stewardship, and youth education. And these are the core values, the core beliefs we hold here at Unity North Spiritual Center. And with that, Grace and Nancy Helvig has been playing piano for us for some years. So we welcome both of them to do our first song. And do you want us to stand? Okay, everybody stand.
Feel free to sing with us, too.
He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hand. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hand. She's got the whole world. She's got the whole big brother in her hands. She's got the whole world in her soul and body in her hands. She got her soul and body in her hand. We've got her whole world in
Good morning. This is our opportunity to greet one another. So if you would please, from your chairs, wave to someone across the room. If you want to greet our friends on Zoom, you can do that on the camera. Whether you are here in person or via Zoom, we want to make sure that everyone is properly welcomed. And then we want to take a moment to honor any prayer requests. So whatever you may have on your mind or in your heart, if you would please just take a moment and we will collectively hold that with you. Please take a breath. Into the silence, we take those prayers. For the resolution, for the answer, for the peace, we give thanks. Then we will continue in this prayerful state to share today's daily word. The word for today, Sunday, September 18th, is thoughtful. My kind thoughts and deeds are a blessing. Today I bring the love and peace of God to all of my encounters by being thoughtful. More than politeness and deeper than kindness, thoughtfulness means I consider the comfort and happiness of others equal to my own. My intention is to let those in my life know what they mean to me. I may reach out to someone who needs an encouraging word, letting them know they have what it takes to succeed. I may surprise someone with a kind act, anticipating a need and taking care of something for them before they have to ask. Each thoughtful word and act lets those in my life know how important they are to me and how worthy they are of my time and attention. From Hebrews 13:16, we read, "Do not neglect to do good and to share what you have, for such sacrifices are pleasing to God." The word for today is thoughtful.
For the meditation song, we'll be singing Sanctuary. Please feel free to sing with us. We'll sing it 3 times through, the first 2 with lyrics, and the 3rd time we'll be humming.
Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary,
I invite you to sit back and close your eyes and relax for meditation. Just take several deep breaths, breathing in peace and breathing out peace. Saying to yourself, I am completely and fully relaxed. We are approaching the fall equinox this week. On Thursday, the 22nd at 8:03 p.m. Central Time, the beginning of a new season. The earth spinning and leaning away from the sun begins to cool from the summer heat. And on the first day of the season, there is perfect balance of night and day. I take this time to reflect on the balance in my own life. The balance between my professional and personal life, between work and rest. Am I resting enough? The balance between outer activities and inner stillness. Am I meditating enough? The balance between light and darkness. Am I taking myself lightly enough? Am I willing to face my own darkness? The balance between lack and abundance. Am I thinking prosperous thoughts? The balance between seriousness and play. Am I playing enough? The balance between aloneness and community. Am I reaching out to others enough for connection and support? Only I can determine my own balance. Through the Spirit of God within me, I am guided into a greater balance in my own life. I allow myself to experience a harvest of good in this season of autumn, a harvest of love and joy and happiness, a harvest of abundance. I take time in the silence now to affirm and know that the balance I seek is beginning to take place in this moment. Edward Hayes writes in a fall equinox prayer, "Welcome autumn, arms full of summer's blessings, carrying the seeds of life for next year's planting. Come, enter my home with your golden wisdom, to be my guest and share my table. Welcome, old wise one. May I be your student in the school of gratitude. Guide me in reflecting upon the summer now gone, that I might give thanks for all the many gifts that have enriched me in that season of growth. I greet you, spirits of darkness that dwell in the night and within me. While you are frightening, you are also a source of power. May I not fear you, but learn to live in holy harmony with you. Night within me, I welcome you as well. May all your spirits that reside in me live in harmony with the Spirit of the Holy. Thank you, God, for the greater balance in my life. And so it is. Amen.
If you were falling, then I would catch you. You need a light, I'd find a match. 'Cause I love the way you say good morning, and you take me the way I am. If you are chilly, here, take my sweater. Your head is aching, I'll make it better. 'Cause I love the way you call me baby, and you take me the way I am. I'd buy you Rogaine when you start losing all your hair. So on patches to all you tear. 'Cause I love you more than I could ever promise, and you take me the way I am. You take me the way I am. You take me the way I am.
Thank you so much, Grace. What a beautiful voice. A renowned cell biologist and author of The Biology of Belief, Bruce Lipton, said that each human body is a community of over 50 trillion cells. Imagine that, 50 trillion cells. And he said that if the cells are in harmony, we express health. But if they are in disharmony, we express disease. So any health issues tell us that our cells are somehow in disharmony. And it's a great metaphor, really, for a cell, for a human being, or for a planet. It works on all levels because they are all connected. And most of the individual cells in our bodies perform every function that you find in a whole human body. So cells have their own digestive system, enzymes, respiratory, excretory, musculoskeletal, endocrine, nervous, reproductive, and immune systems, just like our whole bodies. Isn't that amazing? Bruce Lipton goes on to say, our body is the cooperative effort of a community. A community, by definition, is an organization of individuals committed to supporting a shared vision. The more the cells in your body or the individuals in a community work together, the more powerful and healthy the whole system becomes. Cooperation and community are the underlying principles driving evolution. The new biology emphasizes what the mystics say, that evolution is expressed in terms of consciousness. Now, this is the important part. He says, when an individual organism possesses all the perception proteins it can physically handle, it reaches its fullest evolution. The individual organism can't then evolve any further. But there is a next level of evolution that happens when fully evolved organisms form a community with others so they can then share awareness. A human is just such a community of 50 trillion cells sharing their awareness. So our future evolution is for all humans to assemble into one giant communal organism we can define as humanity. The evolution that we are now facing is to recognize that all humans are actually cells in the same superorganism and to behave cooperatively. So humans, he says, have essentially hit the wall. We can no longer live on Earth the way we've been living, with all our divided families, communities, states, and countries. We've not only separated people from one another, but our way of life encourages competition and fighting. If cells started fighting each other, biologists would call that autoimmune disease. So I'll return a little later to Bruce Lipton as he gives a more hopeful outlook for the future. But community means different things to different people. To some, it's a safe haven where survival is assured. To others, it's a place of emotional support with deep sharing and bonding with close friends. Some see community as an intense crucible for personal growth. For others, it's primarily a place to pioneer their dreams. So we all have a need for community. It's the place where we can often find healing and personal courage. When we come together with powerful intention, a community can unite together to step beyond its limitations and make a difference in the greater community, transforming the world. Communities begin with childhood friends, and then later at schools and universities, we expand our horizons in communities of learning, and then we pick up points about justice and vision and imagination. A woman writes, my son had been a freshman at the University of Wisconsin, Madison, when I called him after 6 weeks and asked what he'd like for his birthday. And he responded, clothes. I was very surprised because I had given him all that he could possibly need as school began. And I said, clothes? What kind of clothes? And he responded, clean clothes. So it's true. We're embedded in communities, circles within circles of communities. Holding up the ideal of unity, we can strive to break down the walls that separate us from others. Catholic priest Richard Rohr said, everything belongs has become my motto and mantra. Everything belongs. So by keeping an open mind and heart, we reach out to the stranger and to all those who are different from us. Always in community, we're dealing with ourselves and with others. We are in agreement or we're in disagreement. And just as in a marriage where we have to accept the dark and the light through the power of love, so it's also true in a community we're part of. Uniting in community includes the idea that we unify the opposites within ourselves and the outer world. You know, throughout the unity movement, many teenagers have found community through YOU. For those of you who don't know, YOU stands for Youth of Unity and represents the high school age kids through the unity movement. And YOU is a powerful community, or can be. So my oldest son, Chris, reluctantly joined YOU when I went to my first church. Prior to that, though, the very last quarter of ministerial school, I went through a divorce. And my former husband, Clark, stayed in the Kansas City area with the new job that he had until later he was transferred to North Dakota, where he still is. And I took my two sons, ages 7 and 14, to go live in Arizona, Tempe, Arizona, where I was to serve in my first church. And Chris had started 9th grade in Missouri before we had left, and that was high school there. But when we arrived in Arizona, he discovered 9th grade was junior high. So he had to go back into junior high. You know, on top of the divorce, the separation from his dad, that was really the icing on the cake. So he was not a happy kid through that school year. But the one really bright spot, the saving grace, was that there was a YOU chapter in my first church. And so he finally went because I bribed him. And then there he met Jason, who has remained his best friend to this day. And then when summer came around, he went to his first YOU rally. And for those of you who don't know, that's like a big camp out with tons of kids, unity kids from different states. In that particular region where we were living, there were 3 states. So it was a 3-state regional rally. Here in the Great Lakes, I think it's 5 to 7 states. But anyway, he went to this regional rally, and it changed his life. He came home a totally different kid. He was suddenly confident. He was outgoing. He was even loving. He didn't hate me anymore. And when school started, when 10th grade started and he was in high school, the kids that had known him from 9th grade there came up to him and said, "What in the world happened to you this summer? You are so different." It completely and utterly changed him. And then he went on. He became the alternate regional rep. And then he ran for international office. There's 3 international officers. And there were 13 applicants. And he didn't win the office, but it was just an incredible experience for him going to Unity Village and going through that process. And what happened, though, is after he got involved in Kids Camp, which is for the younger Unity kids. And in that region, it was on the West Coast in the summer at the beach or in the mountains, and for several weeks. And he'd work with the younger kids. And then as he got older, then he worked with the Uniteens, the junior high kids. So he spent really the next 10 years doing Kids Camp. And even after he had long left YOU and after he had even moved away from the region. He did it until he met his wife-to-be, then he decided he had another focus. So my younger son, Justin, at the time, he is 7 years younger, still is. And so he went through Sunday school in my first church, and then he got started in Uniteens. They were doing Unitine rallies in that area. So he went to a rally, but then he ended up moving to be with his dad. I had the kids in the school year, his dad had them in the summers, and we reversed for Justin because he wanted to go be with his dad in the school year. And so that ended his time with Unity. But ironically, even today, and he's in his late 30s, he tells me that he still believes in Unity and what it is. Even though we've lived apart many years, we see each other, but he's lived in North Dakota all these years. So anyway, he said he still believes in the Unity teachings, and he is the one of the two that calls me for prayer in a crisis. And also, he had me christen his kids, and he had me perform his wedding. And my other one, he married another preacher's kid. So they went a different route. Like when they got married, they decided they either need to have both their parents do the wedding or neither of them. They decided on neither of them. So, but anyway, the thing is, with Chris, my oldest, what happened for him in YOU, aside from finding personal relationships and friendships, is that he found community. For the first time in his life, he found real community. Community that is much deeper and more supportive than school. So that's really what was the amazing piece about it all, kind of the unexpected aspect of it. And you know, one of the most powerful experiences of supportive community in my life was when I was in ministerial school at Unity Village. There were 42 in my class, and we supported each other over a 2-year process. This was from, 1988 to 1990, 2-year process, 32 years ago. And so we played together, we studied together, we cried together. We just had this powerful common intention, spiritual intention, to become ministers and to serve God and others in the world. We laughed, we played, we cried, we wept together, and we fought with each other. And our stuff or personal issues came up full force, and we saw the good, the bad, and the ugly. And after our third quarter of school, when the shadow was emerging, one of my classmates said, "We have all behaved ourselves just as long as we possibly could." And when we had to part and go our separate ways, it was a gut-wrenching experience of total grief. You know, we were joyful to be leaving school and going out to do ministry, and at the same time, we were leaving this incredible cocoon and crucible of love and transformation, and we knew it would never be the same again. So through the years, we've seen each other at annual conferences, and the bond remained. The group got smaller each year as people passed away or retired, and each of us stayed close with only a few members of the entire group. Why? Because we were spread far and wide, and the purpose of our community was done. I think I'm now one of the last 2, maybe 3 from our class, still serving in church 32 years later. Now, thank you. The same can be said for YOUers who graduate. It becomes time to move on and take their journeys into deeper maturity. Some can return later and attend And that's absolutely wonderful when they do them, and you bring that energy back. Others just meet up occasionally. I've seen it that way in many Unity churches. So how many former YOUers do we have visiting today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, all right. How many on the video? 3. So 3. So is that 8 altogether? Fantastic. Let's give them a hand for coming today. And we wanted to just feel that YOU energy, just having that in this space really blesses this ministry. So my ministerial school classmates and I went on to have our own churches and spiritual centers. And as you know, they can be wonderful arenas for people to support each other in spiritual growth. And that applies virtually now. I mean, I know there are a number of people who come virtually who are so grateful to be with us. Even though they're far away, it's still part of the community now. So, churches, spiritual centers are great places to learn about also the power of service and giving back. It's been said that volunteers in a church community are seen as amateurs. Just remember the saying, Noah's Ark was built by amateurs and the Titanic was built by professionals. It also means we no longer have to do it alone. We join with others in shared mission using our gifts and talents in order to be connected through the power of love. Speaking of not having to do it alone, there's a humorous story about a man who tried to do it alone. He's filling out an insurance form after an injury. And he says, I'm writing in response to your request concerning block number 11 on the insurance form, which asks for the cause of injuries, wherein I put trying to do the job alone. You said you needed more information, so I trust the following will be sufficient. I am a bricklayer by trade, and on the date of injuries, I was working alone, laying brick around the top of a 4-story building when I realized I had about 500 pounds of brick left over. So rather than carry the bricks down by hand, I decided to put them into a barrel and lower them by a pulley, which was fastened to the top of a building. So I secured the end of the rope at ground level, went up to the top of the building, loaded them into the barrel, and flung the barrel out with the bricks in it. I then went down and untied the rope, holding it securely to ensure the slow descent of the barrel. As you will note on block number 6 of the insurance form, I weigh 145 pounds. Due to my shock at being jerked off the ground so swiftly, I lost my presence of mind and forgot to let go of the rope. Between the 2nd and 3rd floors, I met the barrel coming down. This accounts for the bruises and lacerations on my upper body. Regaining my presence of mind, I held tightly to the rope and proceeded rapidly up the side of the building, not stopping until my right hand was jammed in the pulley. This accounts for my broken thumb. Despite the pain, I retained my presence of mind and held tightly to the rope. At approximately the same time, however, the barrel of bricks hit the ground and the bottom fell out of the barrel. Devoid of the weight of the bricks, the barrel now weighed about 50 pounds. I again refer you to block number 6 of the insurance form and my weight. As you would guess, I began a rapid descent. In the vicinity of the 2nd floor, I met the barrel coming up. This explains the injuries to my legs and lower back. Slowed only slightly, I continued my descent, landing on the pile of bricks. Fortunately, my back was only sprained and the internal injuries only minimal. I'm sorry to report, however, that at this point, I again lost my presence of mind and let go of the rope. As you can imagine, the empty barrel crashed down on me. I trust this answers your concerns. Please know I am finished forever trying to do the job alone. So communities, both spiritual, virtual, and other kinds, have their own personalities. You know, they are a living, breathing organism, a living, breathing entity, like a person, with ups and downs, highs and lows, with lean times and abundant times. And also, every community, like a person, has a life cycle. And this church community is over 30 years. It has a rich, deep history. And I think it's really the great news that truth, principles, and the spirit of love has prevailed in this ministry. And when one of us shares a challenging experience, then others weep or grieve with us. And if one of us shares a happy, fulfilling experience, a transformation, then the community can celebrate with us. And that's part of the power of community too. And it's true for each one of us as we heal and grow. So does the entire community that we're part of. You know, COVID utterly changed most communities, especially churches and spiritual centers. And in the beginning, we were very isolated. Fortunately, at the point we went virtual, it was a saving grace. I mean, it helped, and it actually did save us. But nevertheless, it was a very, very tough time, especially for our youth and our kids, our young people. Very tough time. And Unity North Spiritual Center will never be the same community as it was. How can it be? There's new and different leadership. Many of the people are gone. 8 people passed away in the last 2 years. And new people have shown up. Not only that, now we have an online community in addition. And yet this center carries a remnant, a group who carry the DNA forward, so to speak. And that is appropriate. The core essence continues on, and it includes a love of the unity teachings and a shared history and experience. And it is welcoming of new people who enter in along the way. So, you know, our hybrid community now, in person and virtual, form one whole, with some who are local and others who even live in different states. So we're creating Church of the Future. And it's somewhat chaotic, but here to stay. You know, change is always somewhat chaotic. We move from chaos to community. So although the inner journey is a solo one, through encouragement, motivation, inspiration, and prayer, the supportive, loving community can make it easier for us to reach our transformation. Sometimes the shadow side of community has arisen, and we can see it in humorous bloopers made in church bulletins. Here are a few. These have been around a long time, but they're always fun to hear. So these are like typos. Remember in prayer the many who are sick of our community. For those of you who have children and don't know it, we have a nursery downstairs. The church will host an evening of fine dining, super entertainment, and gracious hostility. Potluck supper Sunday at 5 p.m., prayer and medication to follow. The ladies of the church have cast off clothing of every kind. They may be seen in the basement on Friday afternoon. The rosebud on the altar this morning is to announce the birth of David Allen Belser, the sin of Reverend and Mrs. Julius Belser. And finally, don't let worries kill you. Let the church help. So Bruce Lipton said, "We are in the middle between an old civilization breaking down and a new, more evolved civilization rising. We are facing the equivalent of metamorphosis. Before a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, it goes through a pupa stage, which looks very much like a stage of chaos. There's a pattern in that chaos, though. It's not random. And that's what is happening in our civilization now. This chaos we are in is a necessary stage in human evolution. The younger generations, people who are under 40, are crucial in this process because they're not incorporated into the system. In fact, younger people make up more than half of the population, and they don't care about the current system. That's why the system is on very shaky legs. If the young people decide to come together in community, they can change civilization's evolutionary path in one election cycle. You know, I've always remembered this wonderful quote by theologian Matthew Fox. He said, "Patriarchy is the fear of the chaos of the goddess." I love that. Patriarchy is the fear of the chaos of the goddess. And why is the goddess chaotic? Because it's feminine and it's creativity. And creativity is always chaotic, always messy. So when we come together in community to make the world a better place, that's in fact exactly what happens. We make the world a better place. Anthropologist Margaret Mead once said, "Never underestimate the power of a small group to change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." So in closing today, Sue Monk Kidd writes, "I took part in a retreat once in which the leader gathered the group into a circle and handed out 3 balls of colored yarn. She asked us to toss the balls back and forth to each other across the circle, each holding onto a piece of it. And the result was a beautiful multicolored web stretched across the center of the circle. Each of you take turns and wiggle your thread," the leader instructed. And what we found was that every movement vibrated the entire web. And it dawned on me this immeasurable truth that we were portraying. We are each a thread woven into the vast web of the universe, linked and connected, so our lives are irrevocably bound up with one another. So I looked around the circle at those faces in a new way. The old adage, "I am my brother's keeper," or "my sister's keeper," melted into something new. I am my sister. I am my brother. And suddenly I wanted to gather them to me and do what I could to heal them and to bless them and affirm to them how beautiful they were. So let us all become more closely united in conscious community with the qualities of the Christ, the qualities of Krishna, the qualities of Buddha, committed to the awakening of all, supporting one another and sharing with a compassionate heart. Thank you. God bless you.
Love is but the song we sing, and fear's the way we die. You can make the mountains ring,
make the angels cry. Know the dove is on the wing, and you need not know why. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Some will come and some will go, and some will surely pass. When the one who left us here turns for us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. If you hear the song I sing, you must understand. You hold the key to love and fear, all trembling in your hand. Just one key unlocks them both, it's there at your command. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now, right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Thank you. Music this morning is invigorating. All right. So this is the point in our service when we bless our offering. There's usually some magical things that happen on the screen behind me. There it is. So if you are in the sanctuary this morning, there is a basket in the back where you are welcome to leave your offering. If you are joining us via Zoom, you are welcome to go to the website and follow the instructions there to leave a gift. So whatever form your offering has taken, please bless it with me now. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And we have some music.
I release and I let go, let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light, and my heart is here for God.
Morning. First, the Unity North Community Gathering will take place today following the Sunday service. So that will begin 11:35, and we will attend that gathering both in person and virtually. So please join us after that gathering for cookies and lemonade in the fellowship hall. Family table will take place this Thursday at 5 o'clock. If you would like to help with that, please reach out to Kathleen. Her contact information is there on the screen. And as Reverend Kathy said, our prayer chaplain this morning is Wendy Erickson. We have another movie night scheduled for this coming Friday. The cost is $5 per person. There are snacks and water available. I was able to attend last time, and it was really a great experience. So if you missed it, I hope that you can come. This time we are going to see Inside Out. I thought I had that one memorized, but I'm excited to see what the community has to say about it. And guest speaker, Reverend Blair Tabor, will be with us again next Sunday. So please join us. His talk title is No Normal for Me, Please. And he will have a workshop about the 12 powers and the Lord's Prayer. And there's a sign-up sheet out in the narthex for that. I'm not sure if that's the end of the announcements or not. There we go. There is a 7-week program with Reverend Kathy called Journey into the Mystery. So please check out the website for more information on that one. That is based on the book by Deepak Chopra. I think that's it. All right. And at that point, I turn things back over to Reverend Kat.
Okay. Thank you. A big thank you to Chris and to Rhonda and to Nancy and to Grace. Let's give them all a hand. And I invite you to stand for a prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Now let's join together in our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
All right, we're going to go right into our meeting shortly, so